funny how life works, because now I'm going to get to do something that I've wanted to do since I was a teenager, and that is meet our next guest. Please welcome David Cassidy. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
I've been waiting for this.
All right.
All right.
Big Ranger fan.
I am. I grew up in New Jersey, and the Rangers were the team I supported from around here. I've been living out in LA for the last 15, 20 years, but I still love them, and it was great being in this building. I haven't been here since 1973 when I played here the last time I was in the building, and it was wonderful to walk down there tonight. And
did it bring back all kinds of warm and fuzzy feelings, David?
Well, I'm not sure about the fuzziness, but it was great. I thought they played a fantastic hockey game tonight. The defense was outstanding, and I now understand, I mean, because I'm in Blood Brothers, I don't get to watch much
right.
hockey this year. But I now understand why they're the best team in hockey. I mean, they're checking I just thought the game was so well played, so tight, and Buffalo played well too. They both skated extremely well.
Now, do you follow any other hockey teams, or is this it?
I'm fairly good friends with Wayne Gretzky. I met him about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, but you have to understand.
That'll get you real far here, David. I'd watch what you'd say if I were you. This is a Ranger crowd tonight.
I understand, but Mark Messier and Asa Tikkanen, who I watched play for Edmonton a number of years, and I watched them beat LA pretty good. And when they skated with Wayne, they were fantastic. Probably one of the best hockey teams I ever watched.
Now I have to ask you, where do your loyalties lie in football?
Well, I grew up here in New York. I was born in New York and raised in New Jersey, so I still love the Giants. And yeah, it's a team And I have always remained a Giants fan ever since. I mean, I'm sort of long in the tooth, so I remember Y.A. Tittle and even Frank Gifford playing football around here.
Whoa.
So a long time ago, yeah.
Speaking of a long time ago, no. Now you're on Broadway in Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
With your brother Sean.
With my brother Sean.
And Petula Clark. What's the show about?
The show is about two twins that are raised in socioeconomic, split up at birth, and basically in Liverpool, and they're raised apart and are not aware that they're actually twins, and they meet when they're 7 years old, and they become best friends, and they actually become blood brothers, and they discover they were born on the same day, but only their mothers are aware that they're actually twins, and how their lives evolve, and how they're intertwined, and how in the end they create this bond, and what a remarkable thing it is if you followed any stories about twins that have been separated at birth, and how much alike but how different, because I grew up in the character I play grows up in a very poor environment, and my brother Sean grows up in a very wealthy, affluent environment, and how they become such great friends, and they fall in love with the same girl, and it's a wonderful, very powerful, moving story. Willie Russell wrote it, who wrote Educating Rita, and Shirley Valentine. So
now, is it tough working with your brother?
It's great working with my brother.
So
he's a wonderful actor, and I mean, I have to kick his butt occasionally, but other than that, we're having a really good time, and it's a Now, this isn't your first time on Broadway, though, is it? No, this is my third Broadway show. I was here 10 years ago, I think, doing Joseph, and I started when I was 18. I did a show called Fig Leaves.
So now, was that before or after?
Before Partridge Family.
Before Partridge Family, you were doing Broadway.
My first professional job as an actor when I was 18. I was just trying to pay the rent and not be a waiter, basically, and like most of us. And it's a struggle, but it's so great to come back, because this is my hometown. I got a lot of family here. In fact, I saw my cousin out in the stands tonight, which was really amazing.
Purely coincidental.
Yeah, Joe Cassidy, if he's out here.
Joe Cassidy,
a good Irish lad.
Now, you were so popular you're popular now.
What do you mean was?
Well, I mean, okay, back when I was a kid,
yeah.
I mean, it was cool to like you. I mean,
yeah.
You could go to school with a David Cassidy lunchbox. I used to have to keep the Donny Osmond one under my bed,
Please.
So I had the lunchbox, the thermos.
It was hard to live the lunchbox down.
How has that popularity affected you in your adult life, both personally and professionally?
Well, it's always difficult. I always shied away from a lot of I tried to demystify myself and try to be being just a real guy and being able to do the same things that I loved doing before I became famous. And that's part of I think the trap of when you become that successful is people assume that you believe all of the press, that you're somehow or another that closely aligned with all of the, at least at that time, the adulation and everything. And I didn't want it. I didn't want to have people view me like that. And I found it very difficult. I left the business for 3.5 years as a result of it.
Why, just to get away from it all?
Yeah, and also for me to go back to what I really wanted to do, which was to act and to do it for the love of doing it. And you know, I'm really lucky that I've been able to have a second career and to be successful as I am again, and to do what I love to do. And thank God people have been coming to see it.
Well, now the Partridge Family thing is happening all over again. And
in fact, I was just out on Long Island today. And I was out there, and there were hundreds of people, and it's so amazing for me to see kids that are 7, 8, 9, 14, 15, 16 years old that weren't even alive when we did it, that are now seeing it for the first time on Nick at Night, and to see them respond to me. And I'm like, you know, I'm an old guy. I haven't got any hair.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you're looking pretty good then for an old guy.
Yeah, well, I am now.
So now, are you going through all the same emotions? Are you reliving it?
No, you know, I'm completely invested in what I do today, which is I'm in the theater, I work here on Broadway, and I'm in the best play I've ever been in. I've got the best part I've ever had. I love what I do, and I'm really proud of the work that I did 20 years ago, and I'm thrilled that it's, you know, considered a classic television show, and that the reason it survived is it was good. It was good in its time, and it's good now, and you know, millions of people all over the world have been touched by it, and I feel really lucky that people respond to it, you know.
Okay, last question. Besides going to more Ranger games,
yeah,
what's next for you? You're doing Broadway. You're like, what are you doing? Are you touring?
Well, I've got a book that's coming out in the spring. It'll be out in May on Warner Books, called Come On, Get Happy, Fear and Loathing in the Partridge Family Bus.
Gee, I wonder what that's about. So is it about your life?
Yeah,
and
it's
your
all
life
about
on
the whole
Partridge
experience,
Family?
about, you know, what I went through in the 70s and what I was like before, growing up here in New York and New Jersey, and moving out to Southern California in the 60s and all of that madness, and going through the 70s, and what kind of how personally how it affected me, not as the public guy, but as me, as a person, as a human. The experience was just devastating in a way that I somehow or another, there was a time I thought I wouldn't personally be able to get through that, and that somehow being perceived as something I wasn't. Your perception of me from that show and all of the merchandising and the marketing of all of it, it was really.
Oh, come on, don't burst my bubble. It's
No,
the last couple of seconds here. No, don't do that to me. Well, listen, I want to thank you for coming out. I'm glad you enjoyed the game.
I love the game.
Hope to see more of you here
watching
the Rangers.
Thank you.
We're taking a quick break, and we are coming back with Tony Monte and lots more.
Thanks.